Today we're always asking, why is there so much propaganda? Why are there so many lies? We're always asking questions like, when did truth become so invaluable? When did lies sell better than truth? But we rarely actually stop and ask ourselves the serious questions, like, what is truth? Because your truth is different than my truth. My truth is different than the next guy's, as is your truth. Well, they cannot all be correct, but they can all be incorrect. This is a little series that I'm calling Historic Philosophies for the Modern World. And I believe that a historic philosopher, German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, who was born in 1844 and who died in 1900, can help us understand the dilemma that we face when we're addressing truth. Nietzsche believed that all truth that we can humanly possess is never possessed in its actual form, but rather they're filtered through avenues or lenses, and then eventually with time, these avenues and lenses are no longer simply conduits for truth, but we've confused these avenues, these lenses, as truth in and of themselves. So, in other words, historically speaking, religion was once myth. Myth simply conveyed symbols, and symbols were the gods, goddesses, deities, spirits, stories that they told which conveyed elemental forces, elemental aspects of nature. But then the myth became taken as literal. It lost its symbolic value. It's lost its metaphor, so to speak, and they began to take it seriously, and it had to have been taken seriously, and they took religion for a truth, so to speak. Very roughly, the same exact thing happened in the realm of politics as well. At one point, the politic was meant to serve the people. They were meant to enact social preservations, cultural preservations, and overall conservation of the people's will. In other words, the politician represented the people. But nowadays, the politician is taken as an icon of the people, and it's the people who now represent the politician. It's flipped, the power has changed, and therefore the avenue of truth has changed. The way we perceive them and the truth about them has changed. And those are the two big factors of truth. Those are the two big avenues of truth that we address in our modern world, is we believe in religions and we believe in politics. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter which avenue you choose to receive your truth from. The reality is that none of these are true. Be it a religion, a politician, a political movement, a news media, any of these little social labels, they don't actually possess in and of themselves truth. And that's where Nietzsche comes into play. Friedrich Nietzsche said that truths are illusions, which have forgotten that they are illusions. He had also said that they are metaphors, which are worn out and without sensuous powers. In other words, in a Nietzschean approach, everything that we take as truth, anything that we consider a fact, is simply an avenue in which truth was originally supposed to be conveyed. Be it political matters, be it religious matters, be it social matters, they were all supposed to be metaphor. They were supposed to be symbolic of the truth. And they've lost the ability to convey those symbols, to convey those metaphors. And now we take the vehicle in and of itself as the actual truth. For me, I think the best way that we can describe this phenomenon is the value of money. We take a dollar bill, for instance, and we say that this is worth $1, 100 pennies, in other words. But what is the actual value of the dollar? The dollar in and of itself is rather valueless. It simply symbolizes a value. It symbolizes the work that you've put in to attain that dollar. Be it that you make 16 of them an hour, 100 of them an hour, 32 of them an hour. It's meant to convey the value that you have attained from your efforts. But the dollar in and of itself is useless. You cannot eat it. You cannot drive it. You cannot live in it. It simply is a means to an end. It's a symbol, in other words. But Nietzsche gives us another insight into truth. He says that people do not want to hear truth because they do not want their illusions destroyed. Yet in our modern world, there can be no denying that we face different problems when it comes to truth than history has ever faced before. Today, people get all up in arms about propaganda and fake news, and it certainly is irritating. But the reality is, all news is fake. It's sensual, it's meant to entertain, and all information is simply revenue based. Everything on the internet, which we have allowed to become our modern source of all information, is simply clickbait. It's all about what sells, not what is actually true, not what is factual. It's about what you and I want to hear. And now with these modern AI algorithms, it's tailored specifically to you. So you get the information that you want out of life. And other people are getting the information that they want out of life. But none of it is actually true information. But at the end of the day, we all love our illusions, and we don't actually want to hear the truth, because the truth would render our illusions useless. They would cripple our ideas of life, and we would have to reevaluate and constantly readjust ourselves in a perpetual state of growth. The reality is, we want to believe rather than know. And I always say that belief is simply a compensation for a lack of knowledge. When you can't know something, you fill in the gaps with belief. And I also believe that laziness is one of the most motivating factors of the death of truth, because illusions are what we strive for. An illusion is the lazy mind's reality.